Okay. I want you to jump in today, and I know I always say that, but if you don't jump in today, and I just get tired of listening to myself. So jump in here with me today, and let's have a conversation. And I will promise you this. If you jump in here with me today, and I'm messing up Rob's recording, I know I am. Every week he says, are you going to stay in one place? I'm like, oh, sure, absolutely. If you jump in here with me today, just raise your hand, comment, object, disagree, add on, whatever you want to do. I will not tease you.
Ish.
Okay? It's Christmas. I wouldn't do that at Christmas. Nobody's buying that. Okay. So here's what I want to talk about today. Lead capture and conversion. Okay? That is getting an opportunity, a prospect, and turning it into a closing. As an industry, not us, everybody else, okay? We're really bad at this. We're really bad. And it comes out by, you'll hear people say it, these leads suck. Right? They're not motivated, they're not qualified. Well, of course. Right? We're panning for gold a little bit. Everything that comes into your pan's not a nugget of gold, right? So obviously we fixed our sound issues in here because I can hear myself really well. Okay. Nationally, anybody want to hazard a guess to what the average turning a lead into a closing percentage rate is? Success rate? Lisa? 1%. Anybody want to hazard a guess on what the percentage rate of people that buy the house they call on is? 1%. My contention is we are only selling homes to people that were going to buy the damn house anyhow. Why? There's a lot of reasons why. Watch though, you got to hang with me on this. This is the rest of your career. It is. And the difference between where you are and where you want to get to is right here in the next 30 minutes. I promise you. If you can raise your success rate from 1, or for some folks 0, to just 4 or 5%, look at the difference. And now watch, we said the average lead conversion rate, turning a lead into a closing, is 1% in this industry. But by definition, that means half the people are much less, and a lot of people are much more. Now, wouldn't you like to be in the much more category? Right. For the same amount of work next year that you did this year, you could make a lot more money without doing more work. Would that be better? Yes. Okay. Then you have to acknowledge this before we can go anywhere with this, that this is skill. It's not natural ability. A lot of us got into real estate because people kept encouraging us and telling us that, I'm so glad you sat there today. You're so cute. You're so charming. Everybody loves you, Ami. You should get into real estate. Bob. How much does Ami being cute and charming have to do with how many homes she's going to sell this year?
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. So your mommy that was telling you how adorable you are doesn't know anything about selling real estate.
I thought you were going to be mean today. Right.
That is me being nice. This is acquired skill. They don't teach this in pre-license. Why? Because pre-license isn't supposed to teach you how to be a successful real estate agent. That's not what it was intended for. Some of us think it was. Well, I got through pre-license and I passed the state test, so I'm ready to go now. No, you're not even close to getting ready to go yet. Pre-license is one thing and one thing only. What is that? Get you to pass a test. That's all it is for. Their one mission is not to educate you, not to teach you how to be a successful real estate agent. It's to get you to pass the state exam. That's it. That's all they're judged on. The Georgia Real Estate Commission judges them and grades them on their passer rate. They don't, wouldn't it be great? Who remembers which pre-licensed school they went to? Casey, which pre-licensed school did you go to? Barney Fletcher. Wouldn't it be awesome if the Georgia Real Estate Commission would go back and analyze the agents each year that went to that pre-license and how much money they made selling homes and judged them off of that? Ooh, well then pre-license would look entirely different. It might look something like what we're going to talk about today. This is an acquired skill, okay? If you just think you're naturally good at this, you're not. And I wasn't either. So let's talk about what it is. What's a lead, first of all? It's just any person that has expressed any interest in the possible purchase or sale of real estate. Could we water that down anymore? Any human on the planet that said, maybe one day, that's all it is. So we shouldn't expect leads to be closings. We're going to have to figure this out, okay? Do me a favor. If you've ever received a company lead from me or the company, would you just stand up for a second? Look at this. Okay, thank you. Now my heart is leaping for joy. Kobe, I'm not teasing people today. Don't worry that you're late. Don't worry about it. It's okay. I wouldn't tease you at all. I wouldn't draw attention to you because it's Christmas. Merry Christmas. Everybody say Merry Christmas to Kobe. Merry Christmas, Kobe. I'm so glad you're here. Oh. Okay, we have a lead program, okay? It's a pretty big one. Bob, I hate to tell you this, but you are not the #1 ranked agent in our office right now. I am. I have distributed over $30 million in sales this year to our associates.
I haven't gotten one of those.
Well, that's why you're #2. If I gave it to you, you might be #1, and we can't have that. Okay, so I spend thousands every month. Do I not?
Yes.
Yes. And he's the cheapest man you're ever going to meet. So every month when he sees the credit card bill, he's like, do we need to be doing this? I'm like, well, it depends. It depends on if we're good at it or not. If we're good at it, we need to double or triple it. If we're not good at it, we probably should stop. We do this to support our engaged agents. Everybody in the room that just stood up, at least at some point up till now, I have considered you an engaged agent. Okay? I'm going to talk to you more about that. You pay zero, nothing. I don't charge you a fee. You don't pay an escalated commission rate. Has anybody ever worked on one of these teams where if you close one of their leads, you pay like I see some alligator, 50% or more? You walk away with 25 cents out of every dollar? No, we don't do that. I'll pay the money up front. I don't charge you anything extra for this. What's an engaged agent? You are actively participating in your career. If you are not, I wish you would. I'll help you when you decide to do it, but I'm not going to take business away from everybody else and give it to somebody who doesn't care. It's not trying. Is that fair? I'm very upfront about it. Some people say I play favorites around here. Oh, I absolutely do. You don't have to wonder. I absolutely play favorites. My favorites are the people that are trying. Man, if you're trying, where's Jasmine? Back there. Where do you drive from every day? Every day. How long does that take? You ever get any referrals from me?
Yes.
Yeah. Every day?
Yes.
Every day. Because if she'll make that effort, I'll make an effort right back to her, and the rest of you too. But if you don't care, I don't care. If you do care, I'm all in with you, okay? That's what I'm here for. And if I can't do that, I'm just going to go play golf. Why? So I get this. This lead eligibility thing that we've got, Mike, like, where are you? You know who I'm. There he is. There he is. I know that it can conflict with your pickleball games. I get it. I know you play pickleball on Fridays, and this is a pain in the butt, and that's exactly why I do it. Okay? Look, we just have a little simple report. It's not a big deal. If you wait until Friday mornings to try to fill out the whole report for the whole week, yes, you're going to feel like you're going to be late to your pickleball game. But if you just keep it, and that's what I'm looking for. You ever get referrals from me?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want me sending referrals to somebody else who is not following up with the leads at all? They hit it and quit it. They call them, they didn't answer, they left them a voicemail message, and if they're interested, they'll call me back.
No.
You want them to go to who?
Me.
You. Me too. So I want to see who's working this, and I'm going to show you why. This is a little bitty hoop of fire to jump over. It's not a big deal. You're not paying for this. We just want to see who's working the leads. How could we do even more? I mean, we're generating over 900 referrals a month to you. How could we do more? Because he doesn't want us to do any, and I want us to do 9,000, right? Put a 0 on that. I'm waiting for somebody to tell me that. Hey, Mike, put a 0 on the end of that, right? I tell you guys that. Oh, I'll make you a deal. I'll make you a deal right now. If you will get engaged with this and you'll get good, I'll put a 0 on the end of that. Because I would be an idiot not to, wouldn't I? Yeah, if we're closing these things and selling homes, where's Steve? Steve, you ever sell any homes out of this? Yeah. You do. If I can get everybody to say that, and I'm going to show you why he does. We'll do 9,000. No problem at all. I'll do it in January. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. I will.
Anybody want to see will.
I will. I'm crazy. I just need to know that you're going to do everything we can to capture it for you. I mean, don't do it for me. Do it for you. And if you'll do it, I'll put a 0 on the end of that. What's a reasonable expectation for success? Well, it depends. It depends on who you are. Like, if you're not responsive, if you don't have a great follow-up campaign, you shouldn't expect any results. And then you're going to say things like, oh, these leads all suck. Well, to you, they probably do. To Steve, they don't. Steve's going, well, don't give them to them, just give them all to me. How quick are you? Okay, so I was at a Zillow conference one time, and I've told this story, but I'm going to tell it one more time. And I think they're the evil empire, but down a degree. But even evil people have good ideas every once in a while. There's just nobody more fun to pick on than Zillow, because nobody in the room will be offended by that. Everybody wants me to just keep going. We should just have a session where we just pick on Zillow. But on the screen, they had this picture, and it was a guy in his early 30s, kind of looked like Bob, had a baby. How old's your baby, Bob?
4 months.
4 months. That's about right. And the guy's laying back on the sofa, and he's got this baby asleep on his shoulder, on his chest. Aw, isn't that sweet? And with his free hand, he's got his phone, and he's browsing homes for sale. And the comments say, call this guy back before the baby wakes up. And that's it. Because some of you call them back and they don't answer. And you leave them a message. And you're like, well, why were you asking for more information if you're not going to answer the phone and talk to me? The baby woke up. And who's had kids? Okay, can you relate with that? Lisa, your kids, you can relate with that? Yeah, when the baby wakes up, the dude doesn't want to talk about houses anymore. Right? How quick are you? Some of you don't respond to lead assignments. I ask for 2 hours. Okay, Zillow's going to ask for instant, real time. When your phone rings, if you don't answer it, it's going to somebody else. And I think that's crazy. Because if you're having dinner with your family, that's not a reasonable expectation. If it's 10 o'clock at night, that's not a reasonable expectation. And I don't actually think that's true. I don't think in this world people actually expect, they kind of want, but they don't expect real-time response. But the quicker you respond, the higher your effectiveness goes up. So what should your expectations be? I don't know how quick you are. If you take 4 or 5 hours to accept a lead, I cross you off the eligibility list for the next week. Well, that's too harsh. Do you want me giving leads to people that respond the next day?
No.
Where do you want them to go?
Me?
How quickly will you respond?
Immediately.
Immediately, right. How skillful are you? Some of us don't think there's any skill at all. And some of us are attending our 9 a.m. practice sessions. And those of you that attend the 9 a.m. practice session, can I get a testimonial from anybody? Have you first realized that there's skill involved, and second, you might not have it?
Yes.
Anybody? You're not willing to raise your hands, are you? Well, oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't supposed to call you out. How robust is your follow-up campaign? Because you're going to find out, I'm going to show you in just a few minutes, this is everything. This is the difference between a 0% capture and conversion rate, and I've seen it where I believe it up in the 8 or 9% range. Now you will hear, over the course of time, you will hear people claim 17 to 20%. How could that be? Like, I call bullshit on that real quick. You know what it turns out to be every time people start claiming double-digit success rate? What they define as a lead. Well, you know, what's a lead to you? Everybody that I have under contract right now is a lead. Well, then your success rate should be 100%. What do they define as a lead? I define it as anybody that expressed any interest at all. How persistent can you be? Now, this is hard. It's hard for a number of different reasons. Number one, most of us in the room right now have a great fear. And our great fear is that somebody's going to think we're annoying. I am annoying. I am a real estate salesperson. You are going to buy or die. Choose. You will buy a house from me or you will exit the planet. Is my wife in the room back there? Oh, good. Okay, band of brothers here. This stays in the room. Selena, don't let her in. Some of you have had to endure the story. When I met Jane, she wouldn't go out with me. Now, who wouldn't go out with me? Like, I know that's unthinkable. It was unthinkable to me. What do you mean you won't go out with me? It's me. She wouldn't go out with me. And today, you can ask her when we get out of here, she just didn't like me very much, which is really hard to comprehend. If I hadn't been a highly successful real estate salesperson, I would not have been married to her for the past 25 years. It would not have happened. Because you're going out with me. You are going to go out with me or die. Choose. You are going out with me, and then I'm going to dump you. And then 25 years later, here I am. It took me 3 months to get a date with her. Oh, I'm not stopping. Does she think I'm annoying? She probably did. I don't care. I'm never going to stop. Some of you are scared to death that people are going to think you're stalking them. You are stalking them. Just tell them, Nicole, you're going to buy a house from me or I am going to hound you till the end of your days. Choose. You got to be persistent in this business. If you take no easily, oh man, you might as well go get a real job. You're going to have a hard time. No is just the beginning. 4 elements of solid contact. This is how you handle your lead calls. Somebody has been browsing online for homes for sale. Well, they made a mistake. They did. They bumped into our website, and now we got you. And now you are going to buy a house. Now, I don't know whether you're going to buy a house this month or 10 years from now, but you buying a house from me. That's how it's going to go. Because I want to sell houses 10 years from now too, won't you? I know we all want to get a lead, take them out, show them a home, have them write a contract, and right now, admit it, you want it to close in December too, don't you? Yes, you do. I know. You're all crazy. That's not going to happen. NAR says the average home buyer cycle from the time they start looking for homes until they move into the home is 405 days. The lead you might get today, it could very well be that they are not going to move into a home until February of 24. And you don't like that. Well, I don't want to work with these people for, but you do want to make $15,000 off of them. Well, yeah. Well, look, I didn't say you had to move in with them. You don't have to spend 4 hours a day with them, but you do have to stay sticky with them. For 405 days? Yes. And here's the additional problem to that. Consumers don't have the language skills to tell you where they're at in the process. Like, wouldn't it be great, Steve? Wouldn't it be great if the leads you follow up with today, they said, now, Steve, before we even get started, I need to let you know that Jane and I, we're in day 17 of our 405-day process, so we're going to need you to be a little patient with us, okay? Wouldn't that be awesome? Wouldn't it be awesome if they didn't tell us, but somehow we had a way of knowing? So that's called predictive analytics. And right now, as we sit here and talk, people are trying to figure this out. And have people tried to sell us that they have predictive analytics?
Yes.
Yes. Does it work? No. No, it doesn't. They haven't quite figured it out yet. But the real estate agent of the future will get this. You'll get a report, and it'll have a high degree of accuracy, and it's analyzing the consumer's online behavior. And from their online behavior, at some point in the not too far off future, we'll all see it in the next 5 to 10 years. The software will be able to predict with a high degree of accuracy when that consumer is really going to buy a house. Today, it can't. It's kind of like dictating a text to your phone. Yeah, you better read it, right? So the elements of a solid call is, number one, look, don't get this wrong or you're just done from the minute they answer the phone. Who are you and what do you want? That's what everybody wants to know. Why are you calling me? Who are you? And the more you beat around the bush and take time to get them to understand that, the more frustrated, defensive, and skeptical they are becoming by the second. Who are you? What do you want? Casey. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Oh, that Casey. Okay. I'll play with you because she's looking at me like, oh, look, I'm in the middle of something here, dude. Casey Sears. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hey, I'm calling for Casey. Hey, Casey, it's Mike over at Century 21, and I see that you were browsing for homes last night. Just a quick call to see if I can be of any help. Now that's a greeting. He's got to get it. Who are you and what do you want? Casey, from that, do you understand who I am?
Yes.
And why I'm calling you?
Yes.
Okay, great. Now we can proceed. If you don't help them get it, they're going to spend the next seconds trying to figure out, who is this? Why are you calling me? How did you know I was online browsing for homes last night? Qualify. You qualify them, not Greg. It's not your, watch. This goes against every class you ever took. It is not Greg's job to qualify your prospects. It's your job. I know you took the class, right? I'm not showing homes to anybody until they get pre-approved with my lender and they come in for a pre-showing interview. And if you could ever get anybody to do that, would you come tell me? And I know there's somebody in the room that says, well, I did. I'm like, yeah, you did one time. And it was probably your cousin. And that's all great. If you can get them to do that, please do. I don't disagree that that's the ideal. I just disagree that you're going to be able to get anybody to do it. They're not ready to, you can't pawn them off on the lender to do your job. I've got to be able to qualify them myself first. Will I bring Greg in on the conversation? Yeah, at some point. When? When it's appropriate. How will I know? This is where your people skills come in. But if in the first call I'm saying, well, here's what I need you to do, Ami. I need you to talk to my lender and get pre-approved. Ami was just browsing for homes online. She didn't want to talk to him. She didn't even really want to talk to me. And now I'm starting to tell her what I need her to do. She could care less what I need her to do. How do you qualify your prospects? LP Mama. What's LP Mama?
Location, price, motivation, agent.
Okay, Ami, you tell everybody. Stand up, tell everybody. Well, you shouldn't have sat there.
Okay, so it's location, price, motivation, agent, mortgage, and or appointment.
Yeah, don't forget that one.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So you just run people through the process. Well, what questions do I ask them? You ask them these questions. So Casey, where are you thinking about moving?
Roswell, Georgia.
Roswell, Georgia. Why? I see. We just run through this, right? And you don't say things like, well, what price range are you looking in? Because he doesn't know. What do consumers know when it comes to price? Monthly payment. He probably knows what he can afford in his monthly payment. He doesn't know necessarily how that translates into sales price. So we have to be able to do that. We have to be able to do the math in reverse. If you do a good job qualifying the customer, why do you do that? Why do you want to qualify the customer?
See if they're worth your time.
Yes. There's two things going on in this qualifying process. Number one, I am trying to decide whether I want to work with you. Do I want to work with everybody? No, I don't. And then you have to decide if you want to work with me. And the way you do that is you ask a lot of appropriate questions. And then you listen to the answer. Don't leave that part out. Okay. And you give them something. So Ami, how do you like to browse for homes?
Zillow.
Zillow.
Yeah.
You ever get tired of guys like me calling you?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Do you know they're selling your data?
Really?
Yeah. How do you think I got it?
Good question. I was wondering.
Yeah, they sold it to me. Your name, your phone number, your email address. How do you feel about that?
I don't like that at all.
I don't like that at all when it happens to me either. If you had a better way of doing it, where your data didn't get sold to guys like me, and you could actually search for homes in private, and like Zillow, did you know that not all the homes for sale are on Zillow? Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah. You know why?
Why?
Real estate companies like mine, each independently of each other, decide who they do and they don't want to receive their listings. So with a click of a mouse, and this is true, at the point that all of you tell me you no longer want our listings going to Zillow, I'll go click a mouse and Zillow will never get another one of our listings. We give them permission to populate our listings. Some brokerages don't allow their listings to go to Zillow. Would that be a problem if they had a home for sale that was right for you?
Yeah.
Right. So it'd be better if you had a place where all the homes were for sale and your data wasn't being sold?
Absolutely.
Gosh, I'm so glad we're talking today, because we have this program called Real Scout, and it'll do that for you. If I sent you an invitation and shared it with you, would you take a look?
Yeah, sure.
Good. Now she's never going to ever see another real estate agent but me. So I give her an offering, something that's better for her, because I want her to get off the phone and go, I mean, this is hard, but I ultimately want her to go, oh, I'm glad I talked to that guy today. And then the close. Well, what are some closing techniques with our prospects? See, we don't teach this anymore. So, hey, Ami, if you felt like you could make more money in less time by listing your house with me today, would you be prepared to make that decision?
No.
Would you? Speak up, girl. Is there a problem?
Yeah.
Come on, think fast, talk quick.
No.
You don't like being talked to that way?
No.
Does anybody like being talked to that way? Do you want me to teach you 14 closing techniques? Uh-huh. You do? Stephanie, how would you like your eggs in the morning? That's a close. Lisa, what time can I set that alarm clock for tomorrow?
Jump off the bridge.
Y'all like being talked to like that? No. How close? It just depends. It depends on the nature of the call. Every call's a little bit different, every person. Now this is where you've got to lean into your people skills. Because if you tell me you're just browsing and I say, well, what time would you like to see the home tomorrow?
I'm just browsing.
Well, what time would you like to see the house tomorrow?
I don't want to see no house.
See? She's wondering, like I'm not paying attention to her. She doesn't want to see the house. Some people you don't close. Some people you put in your CRM and you nurture for 405 days until they're ready to buy a house. And that's not what you like. Guess what? That customer doesn't give a damn what you want. They only care what. I want somebody in the room to tell me, who in the room thinks I could get them to buy a house that they didn't like or weren't ready to buy? Nobody? Yeah, I can't. Could anybody get you to spend a major purchase if you didn't want it? Is there anything they could say to you? No. Now, could I get you to not buy a house that you did like? Oh yeah, I can do that in about 10 seconds. But I can't get you to do something this big that you're not ready to do. It's not possible. Don't try. Those people you have to nurture until they're ready. Make sense? Okay. Now look, we're going to talk about follow-up because this is all about follow-up. And if you don't want to do this, then you need to go get a real job. And I don't have another answer for you. There is no way to be a highly successful real estate person and not have a great, robust, relentless follow-up campaign. And if you don't, like if you wouldn't stand up here right now in front of the whole room and brag about your follow-up campaign, that's the problem. But see, I have a dream. And the dream is this, that everybody in the room is willing to stand up and brag about their follow-up campaign. And when that happens, I will put a 0 on the end of this. And until that day, Dwayne's right, I'm wasting thousands of dollars every month. Because we're getting leads and we're not working them correctly, and then we're not selling homes, and we're mildly dismayed, confused, and frustrated. I don't understand what's going on. 6 different ways of getting in touch with people. Phone, text, nothing earth-shattering here yet, right? Video text. Who uses video text in their follow-up campaign? Yeah, the people that sell homes. Steve, you use video text in your follow-up campaign? Absolutely. Social media, email, and mail. These are the 6 ways. If there's a 7th way, somebody tell me. I'm looking for number 7.
Knock on their door.
Yeah, but all I have is their name, phone number, and email address. But if I know where she is, I will. Now, you want to really creep people out? Don't knock on their door, tap on their kitchen window. Now, that's stalking them. Calling them is not stalking them. Okay. Which one is the best? What's the best way to follow up with people?
All of them.
All of them. All 6. Do it all. Now I'm going to give you an example of somebody who is doing it all and is being very successful with this, and then we're going to have a little chat, okay? And see if you can steal any ideas from him. So Steve, would you come up here with me? And let's talk, because Steve's good at this. Like, every Friday, I like getting Steve's lead follow-up report. It's fun reading for me.
Thank you, sir.
Like, it's good. It's very robust, it's very diverse, it's very effective. He's selling homes out of the program. It works. So we're going to have this. Do you know this guy?
I've heard
Now,
of it.
are the 2 ends in the middle or at the end? Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. I
So
have
the
family
2
members that misspell it, though.
So the 2 ends are at the end
They're
of it.
at the end.
I don't agree with that.
No? No? I'll change it. I'll fix it.
Okay, so, and I want to get ready to flip over, okay, so we can scroll around. This is just a screenshot of Steve's follow-up report. Now look, this is pretty simple. I wanted to keep it simple so it wouldn't be too cumbersome for you to do. But I do want to get a sense that you're actually working the leads and following up with them, because it's everything. And if you're not willing to do that, then don't sign up for the leads. Okay, so Steve, let's just take a customer. Let's just do the first one up at the top. I'm not even going to try to say that last name. How would you say it?
Shigematsu.
Shigematsu, that's pretty good. Okay. Walk us through, so you got the initial lead on October the 24th. Just kind of walk us through what your approach is with this person.
Sure. First thing I do is call. I'll usually always call. And I'll usually always get a voicemail. I leave a voicemail message. Hey, I'm Steve with Century 21. I see you're browsing our website, blah, blah, blah. And right after that, I will send a text also. And in the text, I'll say, I left you a voicemail. Just wanted to tell you whatever it is that I'm sending at that point, because I have different messages each time I'll call somebody or text somebody. So with him, left voicemail, sent, what do you see? I do illustrated texts. I was an illustrator for 35 years, so I have like thousands of illustrations. So I'll have, like for that particular one, I put, what is it that you see in your next house? Do you see open floor plan? Do you see this? And I have one of my illustrations of a person looking at a house in the clouds, dreaming of this house.
Okay, let me interrupt for a second. So you're not calling them and saying, if you want to buy a house, give me a call back.
No, how can I help you?
Yeah, what's your message to them say?
When I leave a phone message?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'll say, hi, this is Steve with Century 21. I see that you're browsing our website, and I would love to be of help with any questions that you have about buying.
And they all call you right back?
They call right back immediately. Yeah, no.
So then what do you do?
Then I send that text immediately after.
Okay.
And then I will usually try to call again or send another text within a day or two of that. Sometimes I get wrong numbers. People put wrong numbers. I've had people hang up on me, but I still don't give up. But I won't call the ones that hang up on me. I'll send a text saying, hey, we got disconnected.
Okay. Okay, so do you pretty much stop there?
No, keep going.
Well, what else do you do? What's next?
I'll send emails. I sign everybody up. Everybody goes into my CRM.
Okay.
And they will get a video message from me once a week.
I don't know what you're doing to me, but keep it up. Okay, back on to lead follow-up here now. So you call them, if they don't answer, you leave them a message,
Yeah,
then you send them a text,
yeah.
then what?
A lot of times the text that I'll send them, I'll send either the illustrated text or I will send them a video text.
Okay,
I like sending video text. So, hey, how you doing? I'm Steve and everything, because it's almost like we can connect a little bit.
Okay.
Everybody goes into the CRM and they get a video every week
okay.
from me.
So they're in their CRM, and,
Yeah.
and then what?
Well, I keep at them. I keep at them when they're new leads. It'll be a day later or 2 days later. There may be a few days. If I'm still not hearing, I give it a few days. But I never really stop. They keep getting something.
But, I mean, aren't you becoming annoying?
Yeah, probably. But I'm from New York, you know. And I play that up a lot too. A lot of the leads are people out of state. Everybody's moving from out of state here. So a lot of times, if I see a number that's in an area that I'm from, and I often do, where I'm from originally, I'll say, hey, I see you got a 631 area code. You know, that's my neck of the woods. I'd love to talk to you about relocating here. Wish I had done it sooner. I've gotten people that way where they're from New York, and I start talking, and they're like, hey, where are you from? They say to me, you sound like you have this accent, and get a kind of a camaraderie going, and they've stayed with me. So
Dwayne, switch over to the live report, okay? And let's just kind of scroll up and down. I just want to let you see, like, look at that first prospect there. The number of attempts that he will make to reach somebody and to stay in the flow with them. Like, it never stops. At what point would you stop?
well, this first one, I kept at her and at her, and then she actually, I sent her to get, she says, I got to talk, I don't know how much money I need to do, and I want to talk to a lender. I was going to go to my bank. I said, well, I'll send you to somebody and everything, and she just wasn't, her credit was really bad.
Okay.
And then she said she's going to continue renting, but she's still on my list and gets something from me every week.
Why would you keep her on your list? What do you mean by on your list?
Well, on my mailing list, in my CRM, so she
Okay.
gets a video from me
why
every
would
week.
you do that? I mean,
Because-
if her credit's bad and she really can't buy anything,
She could rebuild her credit. She could, things change. People's lives change.
things change.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So she might not be ready to buy a house today, but
Right.
she might be ready to buy a house in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yep.
She might win the lottery.
Mhm.
You never know.
Yeah.
You'll want to sell a house in 2 or 3 years?
Yeah.
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 Right.
I'd be thrilled, actually.
Some of us are treating our real estate business like a drive-through window at Wendy's. And we're just trying, if I can't sell you a house now, I'm done. This isn't that. And if you want that, then you got to give up on making $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 per transaction. This is a nurturing process. Some of you are saying, I know, I get it, but I've got bills to pay now. And I'm like, yeah, that was something you needed to be paying attention to back in June and July. Because those of you that have closings in December, my guess is that's where it came from. It was from work you were doing months ago. And if you weren't doing the work months ago, you shouldn't have any closings in December. And the work you're trying to do now, if you go, okay, I'm going to get my act in gear today. Okay, good. And in March, April, maybe May, you'll reap the benefit of that. And if you don't like that, I don't know what to tell you. This is not a drive-through window. You are not going to solve all your problems in December. You can start to build a business and to create a pipeline so that this spring you've got a robust business, but I don't know how to make it a Merry Christmas in your house from a standing start right now. That's a game I don't want to try to play. So at what point would you not put somebody into your database, or would you delete them out? What would cause that?
I mean, I've had some people that I've spoken to, and I don't want to work with them. You know, like There's one guy that was telling me he just got out of jail, and stuff. I was like,
Well,
yeah,
what was he in jail for?
I don't know. He sounded rough. Breaking in entries. He killed a real estate agent. So there were a few of them. I've had, like I said, countless people hang up on me, and then I've continued and continued. And actually, one of the ones that did hang up on me is starting to reply back to my texts. And I think he's ready now for a phone call.
Questions for Steve? Just raise your hand. Okay, because I'm going to keep asking it. Now, I told you Jane wouldn't go out with me. I didn't stop. So I was a real estate salesperson. She's in my database. I'm never going to stop. Every once in a while, I would go, Jane, would you prefer I don't call you anymore? And she would say, no, I don't mind. Like, okay. You don't mind, but then you're pretty unresponsive. But, I mean, we're married now, so some point she changed her mind. How did I know when that was going to be? I didn't. How did I know why she wouldn't go out with me? Well, who wouldn't go out with me? I didn't know why. You just keep trying. Well, couldn't I have been annoying? I guess I could have been annoying, I guess. But what have I got to lose? Nothing. Why?
You didn't have her in person.
Because I didn't have anything. You can't lose what you never had. Okay, you're not losing these prospects. You've got nothing to start with. It's just an inquiry. You can't lose what you never had. I had nothing to lose. But I will tell you this, and this helped me understand my real estate business better than anything ever. When she finally did agree to go out with me, we're sitting at dinner, and I said, you know, Jane, you're like the hardest woman in the world to get a date with. And she said, I know, I'm sorry, but it was about this time of year. She goes, it was Christmas time. We had a big project going on at work. My mom was really sick, and I was training to run a marathon. I just didn't have any time. And I was like, yeah, you know, at any time you could have just told me that. I would have understood. She goes, and then this is the moment. Totally changed my real estate career. As a matter of fact, when this happened, I had the uncontrollable urge to jump up, run out of the restaurant, and go back to work. I promise you I did. She puts her fork down on the table and looks at me in a really serious, annoyed way, and it says, excuse me, I didn't feel like I owed you an explanation. And that's the truth. And that's what's going on with your lead process. I have my reasons. Excuse me if I don't explain them all to some dude on the phone I don't even know. Yeah, of course. They're not calling me back. Means they're not interested. You don't know that. Could mean the baby just woke up. Could mean they had to go to work. Could mean something bad happened in their life. You don't know what's going on. Quit trying to judge situations as if you do. And watch what we do. Just privately check yourself on this. When I do judge the situations, even though I don't have any information, I always judge them negatively. I never say, oh, they're probably just busy and don't have time to talk about this right now. I always say things like, well, they're just unmotivated. They don't really want to buy a house. They're not interested. I always judge them harshly and negatively instead of optimistically. I'll try them again later. I'll try them at a different time tomorrow. I'll try a different way of reaching out to them. Which way is the best way to contact people? You don't know. Who answers every call that comes in on your cell phone? You do? Do you really? Y'all crazy. Especially during election season. That's crazy. I don't answer unrecognized numbers. So if you were trying to call me, you would never get me to answer. Does it mean I don't want to buy a house? It doesn't mean that. All it means is I don't answer unrecognized numbers. What should you do if you want to sell me a house?
Voicemail text.
Everything. And then when you find out which way I do respond, I would note that in your CRM and I would use that as your primary way of contacting me. You know what way would work with me? Facebook Messenger. I hate that shit. That little red icon on my phone. Who else? Anybody else OCD like me? That little red icon on my phone drives me crazy. If you send me don't do this. Oh my God, it just occurred to me. I'm going to get 100. Don't do this to me today. You could be sure I opened it and read it. That's all you can be sure of. I saw it, right? Because I have to. I can't stand that icon being there. That drives me crazy. But that's me. Is it everybody else? No. You've got 6 different ways of making contact with people. I would use them all. And then when you find out which way Ami responds to you, then that's how you try to contact her. You try to contact them the way they want to be contacted. Some people, like, I don't know, who's under 35 in the room? Okay. Y'all don't like talking on the phone. Nicole, you don't like talking on the phone, do you? No, not really. What's the best way to make contact with you? Text. I don't like to text. I'm old. What's the best way to contact you?
No, it is text, but it's because like I'll get a bunch of calls, and sometimes it's hard to keep up with everybody. But if I have a text at the end of the day, I can check and see if I missed anybody. I'd be like, oh yeah, I didn't need to call this person back.
Or you could just answer my call.
If I'm on the phone with an important client.
Yeah, give me a break. Some people, okay, okay, so I'll do this a different way. Bob and I are having a conversation one day, and he's telling me like he doesn't go to his mailbox but like once every 2 weeks. Is that true?
I go like once a month.
Once a month? Holy shit. Okay, so I want you to see something. How old are you? You are not. You don't know how old you are?
Check your driver's license.
Okay, early 30s, 60. Going to the mailbox is a treat. Like, we get the dog. I go, Rennie, you want to go get the mail? And she pops right up and runs out the front door with me. We go to the mailbox like 2 or 3 times and get so upset if there's no mail in there. It's like, the mailman's late. Like, you're talking about a national emergency. Oh my God. That's an age thing. Mail something to me? Oh yeah. Mail something to him, he'll never know it. So should you do it or should you not do it? Do it all. You've got to be relentless. If you're not willing to be relentless, I don't have any answers for you. Ask Jane. I was relentless. I showed up at her job the next day after I met her. Now, you want to see fear on a woman's face? Like you're at a party Saturday night and you talk to some guy and he shows up at your job on Monday morning. Oh yeah, I am relentless. Are you? Nicole, you have this look on your face like you don't believe I did that. Ask her, I did it. Creepy. The look on her face was pure terror. But like, I'm in sales. So I know she's going to be weirded out if I just, but see, I didn't have anything. All I knew was where she worked, right? Now, do you have this kind of initiative? Mm-hmm. So all I knew was her first name and where she worked. That's all I had. Okay, well, I'm showing up. Well, okay, when you walk in the door, she worked at a bank. When you walk in the door of that bank, she's going to be really weirded out, right? Right. Yeah, I know. So I got to have a way of dealing with that. You call people and say, hey, you were browsing for homes on our website last night. How do you know that? You got to have a way of speaking to this to make it make sense to them, right? So here's what I did. Just girls, you'll get a chuck. Guys, this works good. I'm just saying. So she has this look of sheer terror on her face. Like, holy shit, you walked into my job. I'm like, hey, Jane, Mike, we met. She goes, uh-huh. I said, hey, I was just driving by and I thought, hey, you know, that's where Jane works. Well, it would be rude to drive by and not stop and say hello. I just wanted to stop and say hi. And she goes, okay. And you could see the tension start to leave her face because I don't think she believed it, but it did kind of make a little bit of sense. Like, I don't think you're that sweet, but if you are, that's really sweet. I'm like, yeah, it'd be rude to drive by and not stop and say hello. She goes, okay. And I said, well, I got to go. I'm on my way to an appointment. I wouldn't. I drove my ass all the way to Kennesaw just to do that. And so I turned to start to walk away. I was like, oh, by the way, would you like to grab a drink after work one night? And she goes, well, maybe. I'm like, great. Let me just get your phone number then. And she's right out there now, all right? That's how you do it. You've got to make it make sense to them. You are browsing. Steve, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, Steve, this is Mike over at Century 21, and my website's telling me that you were browsing for homes last night. And Steve, it's just my job to kind of reach out today and see if you saw anything that you were interested in.
No, not really, just looking.
Is it a little weird that I knew you were looking on our website last night?
Yeah, it's very weird.
That's what happens when you signed in, though. Like when you gave us your name and phone number, I was going to call you, right? That's my job. Hey, when you're browsing around, have you seen anything that really piqued your interest?
Not really, no.
No?
No.
Okay, great. Well, I'm so glad I called because I look at homes every day. Steve, if you could pick out one thing that in your next home was really important, what would the one thing be?
Oh, probably an open floor plan.
Open floor plan, like where?
Well, where the kitchen opens, you know, what everybody likes.
Okay.
I like.
Okay.
Yeah, opens up.
Thanks for zinging me there, Steve, in front of the whole room. I appreciate that. Okay, great.
Sorry.
And ideally, in the perfect world, was there a particular part of town that you would prefer to be?
Probably Marietta, maybe around the square.
Marietta?
The 6-0 area.
Okay, great. Hey, you know, Steve, again, I look at homes every day. If I was to see something that I thought was special, would it be okay if I let you know about it?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
We could go a lot of different directions with this, but I've got to get him to go along with it. Mm-hmm. Who are you? What do you want? How'd you know I was browsing for homes last night? This has all got to make sense to him. If you can make it make sense to him very quickly, he'll go along with the conversation. Mm-hmm. If I didn't catch him at a bad time. Mm-hmm. If I did, then he's going to be annoyed and frustrated, and I need to call him back. Questions? Everybody's doing great with this. What kind of problems do you run into with lead follow-up?
Oh my gosh, blank.
Hang up on you?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you know what my answer to them is?
But they hang up, so how do you say that? Text it?
Yeah. Now, I'm teasing because I did want to make this point, okay? Am I today, in my business, am I looking for rude, obnoxious, disinterested people? No, I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for people that I want to help and can be helped. So if you're going to be rude, if you're going to be obnoxious, if you're going to be disdainful and contemptuous of me, screw you. Mm-hmm. Or said more appropriately, next. Mm-hmm. I don't want to deal with you. And unless your goal is to sell over 1,000 homes in the next year, you don't have to deal with them. There's 7 million people in this city. You don't have to put up with that. Move on. Don't give it a lot of energy. Okay? It says more about them than it says about you. And some of you will let rude people shut you down. Why?
Mm-hmm.
It's what?
Ego.
It's your ego. You're arrogant.
How dare you talk to me like that?
When you feel uncomfortable, when you don't want to do something, when you let rude people shut you down and not take action at all, it's not that there's something that's wrong with you. It's not that you're lazy. It's not. It's that your ego is running the show. You're arrogant. And your ego exists for one reason. Everybody has one, and it exists for one reason. What is it? That's right. It protects you. It's not going to let anything bad happen to you. It's not going to let people judge you. It's not. That's its goal. Nobody gets to judge me at all. I'm not going to, Steve, I'm your ego. I'm not going to let anything bad happen to you today. And you know how we're going to do that? I'm not going to let you take any action at all. You just stay home and wait for people to call you, your friends and family, because they like you. And that's all, the only people I'm going to allow you to interact with is the people that love you and care about you and will hug you and tell you how deeply appreciative they are that you spent any time with them at all. That's my job as your ego. And I will shut you down from taking any action at all where you might get judged. Well, my follow-up campaign with leads is not relentless. I don't want them to feel like I'm stalking them. I don't want them to feel, I don't want to be annoying. What is that? You are stalking them. You want to see? Watch. Who was recruited to this company by Camille? Just raise your hand. Does relentless describe her? Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Hey, if you're just joining us today for the first time, you just might as well go ahead and join now. Just do it during lunch, because she's going to stalk your ass till the end of time. She is relentless. Camille, how concerned are you that somebody might feel like you're being a little pushy?
I tell them on the first phone call
You're going to be pushy?
that I said, I don't want to be pushy, but I'm going to stalk you to within an inch of your sanity until you tell me it's across.
And she is number 4 in the world at her job. Are you number 4 in the world? She is number 4 in the world because she is relentless. Relentless. If she identifies you as somebody who would do well working here, you're coming here. She doesn't know when. It could be today. It could be 5 years from now, but you are coming. Are you that relentless in your business? Or are you scared of what other people might be thinking? And if you are, that's your ego running the show. And that's going to be hard for you to overcome. Come talk to me about it. Some of you have. We can get past this, but we got to get your little ego a spanking. And your ego has to learn who is running this show, and it's not him. Make sense? Steve is highly successful with lead capture and conversion. Highly successful. But he is relentless in his follow-up campaign with all the different contact methods. And he never takes them out unless they get outside his boundaries. That's okay. I agree with that 100%. You can too. For 2023, you can make more money without working harder. And this is how you do it. Of the opportunities that you do get, be more successful capturing them. How? Be more relentless in your follow-up campaigns. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, I got the thumbs up that lunch is out there and ready for us. So let's tear it apart. Ready?